This lesson is review of some sort. We're just going to take what we've already learned and we're going to use negative numbers. Okay, we're evaluating where you're given a statement or an expression and you're going to plug in values for the variables that we are given. So I hope you remember when you see something like this where it says evaluate, that the first thing you need to do is create parentheses wherever there is a variable or a letter. So what we do is, there's my parenthesis for the x, and then that, and so I want yours to all look just like that. So this was x, this is x, y, and y. So you should have all these empty parentheses. Now we plug in wherever there was an x here and here with -2. So -2 goes into here, and then y is -3, so that goes in where we saw the y's. Yeah, don't cry. My dog is crying, but I think it's just because he can't see. He really wants to watch this lesson. Okay, so now we've got a whole bunch of subtraction and negatives and stuff, and so I really want to review this with you. There are, right away, there's just one set of multiplication here, and that's these two. The rest is finding the sum. So it's this plus the product here plus this, okay? Even though you don't see any pluses, these are all just adding this, this, and this, okay? So let's kind of look and see what it is we're adding by handling these parentheses. First I'm going to do leave this like that, and then bring that negative down and find the product here. Remember, we're doing multiplication before anything else. So -2 times -3 is a +6. Okay, and now we have minus -3. So that's a double negative, and a double negative becomes +3. And I'm not even going to put the 3 in parentheses, okay? So there we go. Now we have a -2. Oh, and this is it -2 minus 6 or -2 plus -6? Both are correct, what I just said. So if you need to give yourself a visual, here, I'll just leave it like that. Add the negative, okay? Remember, we add the opposite. So we have a -2, a -6, and a +3. And we are finding the sum of all those. No one's getting multiplied. So -2 and a -6 together, they're the same sign, so they get to add together and make a -8. So now we have a -8 and a +3, or a -8 and a +3. -8 wins the negatives game, or the sign game, and we take 3 away from 8, which is 5. So our answer is 5. -5, sorry. Okay. Now this is here because I just want to show you what it would look like without, something would look like without parentheses. Okay. What this means really is -3 plus 4 plus -5 plus -2. Or if we separated these all out, it's just like this. Okay? It just means we're getting the sum of -3, -4, or +4, -5, and a -2. Okay? Sometimes it's easier to see that when you're doing vertically, is we're just pulling them all apart. And we're adding all those together. So, if you want to keep it in a horizontal line, though, go ahead and say -3 plus 4 plus -5, right? We can add the opposite, plus -2. That might help you see that we have 3 negatives and then a 4. So what I do, like over here, I say, oh, okay, these 3 numbers have the same sign. So if I just found the sum of these 3 things, they're gonna add up to a negative, because they're all negative, 8, 9, 10. Okay, So really I have negative 10 plus 4. And negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6, because 10 won the sign game. Okay, so we're just getting used to seeing this stuff all different ways until your brain can really understand how to do integers. So I'm probably going to, for some of you, you might already be able to see this, or you've done it last year, but I'm still going to kind of repeat teaching this for a little while until I feel like everybody really understands adding and subtracting positive and negatives when it does not look nice and tidy with parentheses. Okay, so now we're going to take this and we are going to simplify. So I want you to notice something we always do, multiplication before addition or subtraction. So we've got a multiplication problem here and a multiplication problem there. Those are looking for products. Once we do that, then we add or take the sum of this, this, and this. So we've got 3, we're going to end up with 3 numbers here once we simplify the multiplication. So what I do is take care of that first. I'm just going to go right, okay, negative 2, and then I've got a 3 times negative 2, which is, we could say plus negative 6, or just say minus 6. That's how I do it now, just minus 6. And then, but you can write plus negative 6. And then negative 2 times positive 4 is negative 8. But you could say plus negative 8. All right. Now, we could do that if you have, but if we leave it like this, I see that everybody's negative. Okay. It's kind of a sad problem. Everyone's so negative. All right, so that means we just find what they add up all together. 2 plus 6 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16. And because they were all negative, the answer is negative. Okay, so that's how I do that. I'm able to see from here just into this. Now, some of you might have had this, and that's okay. Like I said, keep those training wheels on as long as you need. So you might see negative 2 plus negative 6 plus negative 8. And that is okay. Don't feel any shame for using the tools that I have given you in order to solve problems, okay? All right, now the rest is practice, so that's exciting. You're going to go ahead and do this on your own, and then check back and see how you did, and get help if you get stuck, okay? And go ahead and pause the movie or shut it off and check your answers in the solutions manual. Make sure you do parentheses though, as it says, right? Parentheses as the first step. And go ahead and pause. Now I'm going to do the parentheses and then plug in what I know or what they gave us for those values. So now we have that, and I've got 3 chunks that are eventually going to add together once we simplify them. There's nothing to do to simplify that one. We can simplify this. I can say plus negative 6 if we want to keep it like that, plus or minus negative 2, so that's plus positive 2. So I'm just going to write plus 2. So 3 and 2 make 5. So I'm going to say 5 plus negative 6 or 5 minus 6. These are the same thing. Okay, that's a negative 1 or a negative 1 because 6 wins the sign game. Okay, so or your answer is negative 1 or negative 1. I'm just showing you 2 different methods. All right, again, parentheses. So do negative, parenthesis, plus, parenthesis, minus, parenthesis, parenthesis. Okay, now let's go ahead and put in what we know. This is a negative 2. This is a negative 5. Now with all these negatives, you can see why the parentheses are so important. Okay, negative 2 and negative 5. Now we've just got a jumble of negatives. And I see I've got 3 things that are going, 3 add-ins. And these are all going to make a sum once we simplify the multiplication here. Okay, and we can simplify the double negative. So that is positive 2 you can just keep it at plus -5 for the visual, minus, and then -2 times -5 is 10. Okay, now we have 2 and, -5 and -10, if you want, you can do that, are the same sign. So that's -15 plus 2, which is -13, because they were opposite signs. So we take one away from the other. Okay, moving on, we have, you could go ahead, I'm trying to think if the book wants you to fix that or change it so that you see the negatives or plus negative. You can, if you want, you can go, okay, plus negative and plus negative to give you the visual. If you didn't, so let's say some of you have that on your paper, I'm not, because I'm just kind of helping you get a little stronger. So I have -3 plus -5 plus -2. Okay, so those three are negative. 4 is going to wait and play at the end. So we have -10. 3 plus 5 plus 2. Okay, so now we have 4 plus -10. -10 wins the sign game. And there we go. All right, the next one, I see a multiplication problem here and here, and then we're going to find the sum of those three things. So we have -2, you can say plus -12 plus 10, okay? And now those two are negative, so they make a -14. And then 14 wins the sign game, and so there we go, -4. Next one, we have 3 products here, 3 sets of multiplication that we're going to simplify first before we find the sum of all those. So we've got -3 times -2 is a +6. This is a -10 or -10, same thing, -12 or plus. So now we have negative, so that's -20 or 6 minus 20. Okay, last one. I hope I don't run out of camera battery here. These are 2 products and then the sum between the 2. Okay, so I've got negative, negative, negative. I've got 3 negative signs, so that is going to be a negative product. Okay, 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. So we've just simplified that whole thing into -24, which is nice. And then negative times negative, we have 2 negatives, so it's going to be a +24 as well. And I see these are opposites of each other, and opposites of each other always cancel each other out and make a 0. And there we go. And I believe that's it for your practice. Hope you did well and understood this nice and slow. Parentheses are important.